constitution to be subjected to a referendum for the Nigerian people. Why are we afraid of a referendum? Referendum simply means that the people buy into the document so that it does not just become plastic. It becomes animated. It carries the will of the people. It carries their imprimatur. It becomes legitimate. It becomes respected. It becomes autochthonous. It enjoys the will, respectability, and legitimacy of the people, as the American people did. In about 1788, in Philadelphia, when they met, the Republic of Nigeria at the age of 24, and he was Nigeria's permanent representative at the United Nations before he was 26. Dr. Jack Yakubu Gowon became head of state of Nigeria at the age of 32. And guess what? He was a bachelor. People like King Alfred Dietespi, they became governors. Many of them, Dr. Sam Ogbemudia, at the age of between 28 and 30. Today, you have Nigerians who are between 30 and 35 still struggling to pass through the university to get their first degree, because a course that ought to have been for 4 years is elongated through strikes and other catastrophes to become a course of 7 years, 8 years, and 9 years. Now, the children that ought to be protected are rendered most vulnerable. In Nigeria, they go to school. In their schools, they are captured by Boko Haram, by kidnappers, by armed bandits, and their parents are made to pay ransom. In fact, in the one that happened in Kaduna, that one took on an higher altitude when the kidnappers now demanded from the parents of the kidnapped children to buy and bring for them bags of rice, beans, gari, palm oil, vegetable oil, sugar, salt, Maggi cubes. They even dictated how many of these should be brought, or else they will kill their children. That was to keep the children alive for the purpose of ransom being paid for them. So we have a situation where we are all vulnerable, not just our children. In schools, we are vulnerable. In our markets, we are vulnerable. In our offices, we are vulnerable. On the streets, we are vulnerable. In our farms, we are vulnerable. In the air, we are vulnerable. On the waters, we are vulnerable. Everywhere, there is problem. Nigeria has never had it so bad. And a country like that, without peace and tranquility, without security and welfare, which are the two primary purposes of government, can never progress. It will just suffer the fate of the barber's chair of perpetual motion on its axis without any progress. And that is why today's symposium, today's workshop on Nigerian children and insecurity is very apt, very apposite, and very timeless, because it presents us an opportunity to x-ray the clear and present danger of the multifarious problems that currently beset the Nigerian child, who, when he is not able to go to school, is also made a child laborer, selling gala and pure water on our streets, or married out as a girl wife to rich people between the ages of 12 and 16. That is not how to grow or develop a country. Nigeria must begin to go back to brass tacks. We need a new constitution for the people, a constitution to be subjected to a referendum for the Nigerian people. Why are we afraid of a referendum? Referendum simply means that the people buy into the document so that it does not just become plastic, it becomes animated. It carries the will of the people. It carries their imprimatur. It becomes legitimate. It becomes respected. It becomes autochthonous. It enjoys the will, respectability, and legitimacy of the people, as the American people did.